Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Pro Wrestling Logic, and we continue our Smoky Mountain series. This is going to be episode 2. If you're new here, we do have the Smoky Mountain series placed in a playlist for you. We will have all close to 200 episodes of the program. I know there are a couple missing from the access that I have. Also, there are a couple shortened episodes, such as episode 3, which I may get to later this evening. So, not the definitive complete collection, but as close as you're going to get here on YouTube. If you're new here, like, subscribe, comment below. Mention a series of old school wrestling before 1995 you'd like us to cover, and I'll put it on the next list once we're done with Smoky Mountain. Obviously going to be a while. Usually about 3 or 4 months. Anyway, episode 2, Jim Cornette and Bob Carl run down the card. The whole pitch, we're running down the card, less than 90 seconds. From show open to here's what we're doing. There's going to raise that. In WWE, we have 20-minute promos that talk about what we're doing or why we're doing it or whatever in 2020. Yet in 1991, we could capsulize useful information that people need to know in 90 seconds or less. What does this mean? It means that there's too much reliance on filling time. The stars of today are not given a chance to tell stories. We give them 5-minute matches, but we can give them 20-minute promos. Stupid. Because here's the thing. People are enjoying listening to other people talk. Cartoons, if they're good, not if they're scripted. Whereas this overview of information, if you're tuning in right on time, hey, you know whether you want to watch the rest of the show or not. That's useful. All right. So Tim Fry versus Hollywood Bob Holly. And this is the first time that most people will have seen Holly. Yes, the same hardcore Holly who later was a standout in the WWE, and I believe that Jim Cornette is the one that opened the door for him to go north sometime during the second year of his run. I think he's here until 93. I could be wrong on that, but it is Jim Cornette that opens the door for Bob Holly to end up there. Good snap on Holly as far as just aggression. He's a heel here. I'd known as Hollywood Bob Holly. Odd that it would come back together that he would be later managed by Cornette in the World Wrestling Federation as the New Midnight Express in 98. So all things come back around. An interesting thing. Area Carpenter Channel. I enjoy the snap. I did not enjoy the pink tights by Holly. Not quite sure what he's thinking there. Maybe just to stand out and look a little different, but it's interesting to say at the very least. Long right, long right, and Cornette makes a comment that long right has left more stitches in faces than grandma in quotes or something to that effect. Interesting comment there. I love Cornette because he's always come up with something of a quip, something of a story, and it's not, rude or obnoxious. It's just, that's Jim Cornette. Good backbreaker by Bob Holly and a top rope knee drop by Holly. Akin to something Bobby Eaton might do, or almost a Harley Race type knee drop, only from the top rope elevated. And an innovative pin by Bob Holly for the win with just the knee across the chest of his fallen opponent. We go to a promo with Robert Gibson. Gibson's been out 9 months with a knee issue. Thanks, fans, for their support. To support Rock and Roll Express all the way around, leading to an eventual, obviously, appearance by Ricky Morton somewhere down the road here. Match number 2, Rip Rogers versus Paul Orndorff. Rogers, who was a standout in the Maritimes and has been a trainer in OVW probably for more than 20 years now. I think he still does some training in OVW from time to time. In any event, to be in the ring with Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, obviously Orndorff, a gentleman who was a major part of WrestleMania 1, perhaps the second biggest challenger to Hulk Hogan, well, maybe third. I think you can talk about the 80s Hogan challengers in order of Andre, obviously first with WrestleMania 3. Many people don't realize, but Orndorff was the backup to Andre if Andre could not perform. That's the common lore anyway, and then Savage being Hogan's third most prolific challenger throughout the 80s. So big role for Orndorff. Orndorff had been removed from the wrestling business due to muscular atrophy in one of his arms in late 87, early 88. And this is the first time he's back on any scene in that time. I believe he, if I remember correctly, went and started a bowling alley and some other businesses. It comes back to wrestling here in Smoky Mountains. Rogers jumps Orndorff from behind. I really like that because it shows the local area talent. It can compete with a former national area main eventually really quickly, establishing that in the first few minutes of the match. Makes the local area talent look strong, whereas Paul Orndorff, we don't know how long we have him. He could be here a month, could be here 6 months, could be here a year, or could be here only for a single appearance. So it's important to make the local area talent look strong. And one thing I'll say about Rogers, and I've always said this, if you have the opportunity to see any of Rip's training videos, or a few available online, I wish they were lit a little bit better, but if you ever have to have the opportunity to train with Rip or to listen to Rip, I know he's got a shoot interview over High Spots that's really interesting, provided you don't mind X-rated language, R-rated language, and all points in between. Anyway, Rogers is certainly a guy that sells amazingly. He sold his face here really well, but I mean, he will sell every movement, and every movement matters with Rogers. Good comeback by Orndorff with a series of clotheslines and other powerful moves. Arm drag into wrist work by Orndorff here, and you almost see the MMA style cutoff of the wrist lock. Just an interesting modification for that early in the wrestling / MMA world. And then we see a sit-down pin after Rogers attempts a pile driver, which would have led him to disqualified if he had actually hit it. Sit-down pin by Orndorff for the victory. We then jump to Nitro Danny Davis, who's happy to be there. Nitro Danny Davis and says that he will bring back family sport, and that he's just happy to have the opportunity. And he's now known as Nitro Danny Davis. Speaking of bringing back the sports-like feel, Bob Armstrong out next says he will bring back family sports feel, no pile drivers. And Brian Lee is up next with a promo about Dutch Mantell, and he puts out the challenge that he'll fight Dutch anytime, anywhere. Mantell versus Scott Armstrong, really basic arm work for the early stages of the match. Both series of arm drags and another series of Armstrong drop kicks that look really good. Short lariat, really snugged by Mantell, and Mantell gets disqualified because of using his own bullwhip. This brings out Brian Lee, who is willing to confront the underhanded nature of Mr. Mantell's actions. Then we jump to Bob Armstrong out, says he's going to find the using the whip, which would be $500 next week. Lee versus Dutch Mantell. Hype, and that Smoky Mountain is better than others. And we then talked a little bit about Jim Cornette's upcoming team, the Fantastics versus the Koloffs. Main event hype comes up next. Ron Wright, tired of being accused of being underhanded. He's just looking for talent to support him in his pursuit of getting surgery. The Fantastics versus the Koloffs is up next. And that is your TV main event. Let's just run through that really quickly. The Fantastics do some good arm work, good chain wrestling. Both teams, good double team by the Fantastics, and beautiful tag cutoff by the Koloffs. Double team Vladimir Koloff with a decent backbreaker at the midpoint of the match. Worth watching. Lyman uses the chain over the buckle. He gained an illegal advantage. Nice suplex by the Koloffs. And a hot tag to Jackie. Jackie folds him in with a top rope backpass body for the win. Cornette says he does not want to go to the local area towns. They are very hick-like. Then we run into a promo with Terry Gordy. Gordy talks about Freebird this and Freebird that, and Freebird Mountain, and he's going to be dropping bombs upcoming. And then we close the program with something I have to question, and that is excuse me, for those that wonder about my cough, I actually have gotten a few DMs about it. I do have acid reflux, and unfortunately it is medication resistant, so I have a tickly cough that doesn't go away, and unfortunately Mike doesn't have a mute button. I'm hoping that the one I get on Friday does, but this one does not. In any event, Tim Horner with an awful promo, basically being really southern, says that this is a place where wrestlers are going to get a chance to wrestle, etc. and so forth. Basically does a Garth Brooks Wild West Cowboy knockoff thing, dressed in dress clothing, trying to look special, but just not cutting it. And then we close the show. Once again, Scott Golden with your Smoky Mountain Wrestling review, episodic television. Like, comment, subscribe, mention below another series in wrestling before 1995 that you would like to see us cover, and we'll be glad to do that. I will be back later this evening, probably into tomorrow, with the Raw review, and maybe another Smoky Mountain, depending on what my demands are with clients for work. So keep your feet on the ground and your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.